Okay. So, dear colleagues, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Wei Min. I'm one of the Spectrum Institute for Teaching and Learning's vice presidents. I'm grateful to have all of you participating in the 2025 SITL workshop series, especially some of you who have shown up in each section this year. Today, we will have the last section of the 2025 workshop series. In this section, we have three presentations covering varied issues such as teaching styles in the undergraduate program, teaching styles in sport education, and teaching styles integrated in innovative technologies. I don't want to speak too much at the beginning of this section, but I'm saving time for our presenters to share their research and practice of implementing the spectrum of teaching styles in their daily practice context. So, Miguel, Ronald, Celia, Longobardo will deliver our first presentation. I hope my pronunciation is correct. So now, Miguel and Celia, please proceed when you are ready. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen and start with the presentation.
We see it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great. Just 1 second. Okay, perfect. So thank you so much. We are so happy to be here today talking about our research called Influence of Teaching Styles on Motivation and Engagement in Perception Learning among Sports Science students. This research project was carried out by Professor Miguel Ruano, who is today here with us, and myself, Celia Longobardo. So this research project is part of the Spectrum Institute for Teaching and Learning Workshop Series 2025 and has been made possible thanks to the research grant awarded by this institution. So we are so thankful for that and also for giving us the chance to present again since we couldn't make it 2 weeks ago due to unfortunate circumstances. So these are the contents. We're going to get through our presentation and let's start with it. So just in case any one of you isn't familiar with the theory of the spectrum, the spectrum theory is teaching as a chain of decision making, and there are 11 styles based on who makes the decisions and to what extent, the teacher or the learner. There are 11 styles. The first 5 styles from A to E are command, practice, reciprocal, self-check, and inclusion, and they form a cluster of teaching options that foster reproduction, so memory thinking. While the remaining styles form a cluster of teaching options that invite production, discovery of new knowledge. Among the first styles, the ones that foster reproduction and memory thinking, the emphasis is on replicating models and procedures. Consequently, learners build their understanding through memory, identification, sequencing, or reliance on procedures, which is essential knowledge for sports practice. Okay, and what about proprioception? So in this context, proprioception involves the awareness of body's position and motion, relying on input from internal sensory structures. It is not merely a passive perception of sensory signals, but it demands attention, control, movement planning, and sensory processing, all of which are shaped by memory and learning. And moreover, it is important to acknowledge the potential involvement of cognitive functions such as decision making, attention, explicit awareness, and familiarity with evaluation due to repetition in enhancing preperceptive assessment. So, combining these concepts, the initial spectrum styles appear well suited for efficiently teaching preperception related content. We believe that a proficient teaching approach will enhance past performance, elevate the sense of competence, and subsequently boost motivation toward the subject. Furthermore, experiencing different teaching styles as students can significantly shape how future physical education professionals approach teaching. Also, when university students in sports sciences experience high levels of motivation and engagement through different specific teaching styles, they may be more likely to adopt and apply these effective methods in their professional practice. And this experiential learning not only could enhance their teaching efficacy, but also positively impacts the motivational climate they create for their future students. Taking all of this into account, we believe that, or the objective of our project is to in, identify which teaching style within the cluster that focuses on memory thinking impacts learner adherence to content, task performance, um, and motivation for learning in physical education classes related to preperceptive content. So, how did we do it? Okay. So a total of 85 university students participated in this study with a mean age of around 23-year-olds old, and they are from sports science. We carried out 6 sessions, one theoretical and one practical for each style, and we chose 3 different styles. Style A, command, style C, reciprocal, and style D, self-check. Later on, we will explain why these styles and maybe not other. The content we chose was perception, specifically pelvic floor muscle training content, and the measurement method used was a validated questionnaire called Students' Experiences and Perceptions of Teaching Style, the Spanish version. So taking a deeper look into all of this, the participants, as I said, were 85, and the inclusion criteria were that, first of all, they had to be enrolled in the physical activity design, intervention, and evaluation subject. They couldn't have previous pelvic floor training experience, and they had to attend all 3 theoretical sessions and all 3 practical sessions corresponding to the 3 styles, respectively. Taking all of this into account, we could analyze the responses of 63 students, 39 males and 24 females, mainly to the third criteria, the attendance to all the classes. And what about the styles? So we chose the style A, which where the teacher makes the maximum number of decisions, and the learner's role is to reproduce, follow, and replicate. Then we also chose the style C, where it is based on reciprocal social interaction. And here one learner is the doer who performs the task, and the other learner is the observer who offers immediate and ongoing feedback to the doer about the task while using a criteria sheet designed by the teacher, in this case by us. And last but not least, also, we chose the style D in class inclusion. So the students work independently and check their own performances against the criteria prepared by the teacher. So we chose styles A, C, and D because we think they represent a meaningful progression of teacher to student decision making within this reproduction cluster. And style B was excluded due to its similarity to style A, and style E we believed was not suitable here because it relies on tasks with multiple entry levels of difficulty, and all the students here started from the same level with completely new content. Also, we believe that limiting the intervention to 3 styles avoided excessive repetition of the same content, because teaching the material 5 times could have led to redundancy and lower the motivational climate in later sessions. So we didn't want to compromise the authenticity of the students' responses. So all the sessions were distributed among 3 weeks with one theory lecture and one practice lesson. So to minimize order effects, the order of teaching styles was counterbalanced across different groups of students. And in the theory lecture, we also introduced the content of pelvic floor muscle training to make sure they have the minimum necessary knowledge to perform correctly the exercises. Each session lasted around 50 minutes, and all of them were supervised and validated by 3 independent professors, experts in the methodology of teaching in physical education, with more than 10 years of experience in lecturing and researching. Okay, and what about this preperception content? So we chose pelvic floor muscle training for 2 reasons. The first one was that it was new content for all of them. So we wanted them to start from the same level, level 0. And the second one was that it was based on preperception. So the students had to be very concentrated and very conscious of carrying out the task with precision. So the measurement method used was a validated questionnaire, the Spanish version of the questionnaire of students' experiences and perceptions of teaching styles. It is based on a 1 to 5 Likert scale with 4 parameters. So the first parameter is implementation. So the sentence is, how often do they implement this teaching style in their classes or trainings? Rating 1, never, to 5, always. The second one is fun. So it's, I think this way of teaching will make class fun for my students. Rating 1, totally disagree, to 5, totally agree. The third one is motivation. I think this way of teaching will motivate students to learn. Rating 1, totally disagree, to 5, totally agree. And the last one was teaching ability. My teaching ability to implement this style would be 1, low ability, to 5, high ability. So participants filled out this questionnaire 3 times after completing all sessions, one for each type of style. And their responses were analyzed using a linear mix method with the free software Jamovi for statistical analysis. Okay, so what did we find? So in terms of implementation, how often do they implement this teaching style in their classes? Rating 1, never, to 5, always. C and A reach the highest scores. According to fun, I think this way of teaching will make class fun for my students. C reach the highest scores. And same happened with motivation. I think this way of teaching will motivate students to learn. So C was the one who which rated the highest scores. In terms of teaching ability, students' perception about their ability to implement different styles didn't vary across all the styles. And furthermore, no significant effects of sex were found for any of the measured variables. So to sum up, we could see that style C, through reciprocal social interaction, was the style that received higher ratings in motivation towards the content among the 3 styles studied. So taking a deeper look about all of this, we saw that reciprocal style C was rated highest for student motivation and enjoyment. supporting the value of peer feedback and active engagement in this type of content for perception in physical education settings. Then autonomy supported methods like style C align also with self-determination theory, which links greater autonomy and competence to higher intrinsic motivation and enjoyment. Also, command style A, though effective for task implementation, was seen as less enjoyable and motivating, highlighting maybe the limitations of teacher-centered instruction for sustained engagement, at least in this type of content. So perceptions also of teaching ability remain consistent across the styles. So this could indicate that the style impacts affective experiences more than perceived instructional competence. And also, student-centered teaching methods that imply social interaction are encouraged in sports science education, particularly for content like perception, as they could foster motivation, engagement, and emotional investment in future teaching practice. There are some limitations about our study. The first one is the sample. So we know it's relatively small and restricted to students from the same academic setting. The second one is the measurement method selected. Even though it is a validated questionnaire, it relies on a 1 to 5 Likert scale. We know this format is common and practical, but also we think that it may limit how detailed the responses are because the students tend to choose the middle point, usually 3 when they feel insecure or neutral. So this can reduce the sensitivity of the data and make it harder to detect more precise perceptions about the learning process of the student. Also, the methods used. So the study focused on subjective responses, and we didn't include more objective measures or indicators of learning. So we know also this is because partly due to the nature of the content. So pelvic floor perception is difficult to assess through traditional performance tests, but we believe also that it will have been helpful to include maybe some interviews or maybe other qualitative methods to better understand students' learning processes or long-term retention of this specific content. Some practical implications or take-home messages. First one, we believe that the internalized emotional and motivational impacts of different teaching approaches can help future physical education teachers to apply them effectively in their own classrooms. Also, including more peer interactive styles such as reciprocal style C can help to boost student motivation, enjoyment, and perceived learning, especially when teaching complex sensory-based topics like perception. Teachers should consider both the nature of the content and students' preferences when selecting instructional methods. Also, since no significant sex differences were found, educators can apply these insights broadly across mixed gender settings. As most of us were said, no single style is superior or than others, or it depends on the context. So teachers should be equipped to flexibly apply various styles depending on the learning objectives, the context, or the classroom dynamics. And also, future educators should be encouraged to reflect on their experiences with different teaching styles to develop a more responsive teaching strategy that supports both learning and motivation. So these are the references we used to carry out this presentation. And this is all on our side. And I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and we are happy to answer any question in case there are any easy ones, please. Thank you so much.
So Celia, thank you for your wonderful presentation. So now time is for our audience. Do we have any comments, questions, or ideas that you want to share? So do we have any questions or comments that you want to ask or share with us from the audience?
Min, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Celia, thank you for your presentation. That was very nice. Can you, at the beginning of your presentation, you very briefly indicated that you counterbalanced the teaching styles in terms of the delivery of it. Can you explain that a little bit, please? I don't think your voice is on.
Okay, sorry.
Very
Yes, so we didn't want to start with the same teaching style for all the groups. So we had 4 different groups. So it was randomized with which teaching style to start, but we gave them the theoretical content or the essential knowledge to perform the exercise correctly, dependently on the teaching style used. I don't know if I explain myself clearly or.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All good.
Nice. Thank you, Mark. Any comments or ideas that you want to share with them, with our presenters? All right. So thank you. Thank you again, Celia, for your nice presentation. Uh, yes. And so we are going to our second presentation for the day. This presentation will be delivered by Dr. Liu, Ms. Mao, Dr. Hasty, and Dr. Valdez. They will share their findings about embedding multiple teaching styles into the sport education module on students in motivation and learning. So Dr. Liu, you are welcome to start your presentation.
Thank you so much. Let
Yes.
us share our screen first. Give me one moment. Okay, can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Nice.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So my name is Hairui Liu. I'm working at the University of North Dakota. So along with my doctoral students, Wei Mao, so we were presenting our ongoing projects that try to integrating 3 different teaching styles in sport education model. So I will leaving the majority of the presentation to Wei. So because she's doing all of those implementation works. So Wei, it's your time. Let's go. Let's try to share our project.
Thanks for having us. Let me get started with background information. So we use sport education to run our class. Sport education, known as a student-centered pedagogy model, introduced by Dr. Top in 1990s, seeks to develop students who are competent, literate, and enthusiastic about sports. And this model emphasizes realistic sports season in class, stable team, record keeping, and a festive environment, ultimately culminating in final competition or celebration. And students have different roles in their team, such as captain, coach, equipment manager. And several research point to the importance of instructional quality among student coach. For example, Wellhead know that inadequate demonstration and error diagnosis hamper peer teaching. Rojo found that limited error correction and task adjustment skill also reduce effectiveness. Meanwhile, Perman and Forrest show that student coaches thrive when they have stronger sport-specific knowledge and leadership quality. And recently, as a belt, indicate that higher skilled student coach dedicate more time to coaching, about 15% versus 10%, and excel at refereeing, providing cues, feedback, and demonstrating tasks. And some research about student coach training just highlight how important it is. And research by Rojo and Hasty provide a progress pace to help student coach establish coaching skill and experience. For example, they start with modeling teacher instruction, pre-lesson meeting, holding coach corner, and then lesson reflecting on their instruction and incorporating plan sheets. And research by Fernandez-Rivas emphasize active engagement, problem solving, and discovering. Hasty underscored that we still need more research into how students interact with game-based tasks and design, and what pedagogical strategy maximize effective technical instruction, both from teachers and from student coach themselves. So to frame our instructional intervention, we draw on the spectrum of teaching styles, which capitalize teaching behavior is a trend of decision-making. And this decision occurred before, during, and after instruction, made by both teacher and learner. Within the spectrum, we see varied approach, such as reciprocal, learner design, and learner initiated, each offering different pace towards cognitive, social, physical channel development. So our primary question, how do different teaching styles, specifically reciprocal, learner design individual program, and learner initiated approach within sport education impact students' motivation, game performance, and skill proficiency? So we recruit 36 undergraduates across modern physical education class, such as badminton, table tennis, and volleyball. We used a pre and post intervention designed over 8 weeks, ensuring informed consent and IRB approval. Each participant engaging the sport education season with different teaching style intervention. What we want to point out is that this is an ongoing project, and we are continue collecting data the upcoming fall of 2025. Here's a brief overview of 8 weeks lesson plan and data collection. So over 8 weeks, we integrate 3 teaching style into weekly training session. We are focusing on lesson 7 to lesson 15. So each style was introduced, practiced, and then integrated into team regular routines. We simultaneously collecting data from their motivation, game performance, and skill proficiency. And here are some simple diagram to briefly show how we conduct the skill test. In volleyball, we measure their setting and forearm pass. And in table tennis, we measure their forehand drive and forehand attack. And in badminton, we measure their French clear. So let's zoom in our team practice lesson. Usually on Friday, before they start training, they will decide their coach role for next week and let the coach provide their lesson plan for next week. And they will apply different teaching styles. And then goes to Monday, they have team practice by apply different teaching style. Goes to Wednesday, it's pre-game season. They have different opportunities to practice as a referee, as a player, and also they have chance to modify their task based on the game result. And then go to Friday again, they will practice again. And also by the end of the Friday, they will decide the coach role for next week. So that's kind of the flow how we conduct team practice session. So let's break down also all those 3 teaching styles into to see how they actually integrate into our class and also how our students respond to it. First is a learner initiated style. It also called style J. Students themselves takes lead by identifying their needs and designing their practice content. So we provide coach leading question 1. Those are a series of open-ended questions to unveil students' performance goal. For example, what specific skill do you want to improve in this week? What skill do you find most crucial for winning a match? What aspect of the skill do you feel needs improvement, etc.? So we expect that by answering those questions, our students are able to identify their needs, and this encourages them to discover solution, fueling autonomy and intrinsic motivation. Here's an example how we prompt learner initiated thinking. So in this case, he is a coach for next week, and he's a learner. Let's see how he responds. Also, in this case, we ask the question, what kind of drills do you want to practice next week?
I think the face. Yeah. Angle of the face is really sharp on the shoulder. Because movement, I think I'm getting better at. Full arm, it's just the angle of the face that's what it is. Not there's
Maybe the balance is not that clear, but this player, he was reflecting himself. He mentioned he's getting better at the forehand drive, but he still need more practice on paddle control. And this conversation lets the learner steer their own progression. So after student coach gets all the information, they're going to work on the training plan design. That's where learner design individual program come in. It emphasizes learners' independence in discovering a structure to resolve a problem. So we provide coach leading question 2 and task sheet. So the coach leading question 2 are used for student coach. They're going to ask themselves, what goals does your teammates want to achieve in this session? How do they match the skill you're trying to improve? And what skill or strategy did your team find difficult? And how can you create drills to improve them, etc.? So we expect that by answering those questions, by asking themselves, our student coach are able to reorganize all the information they gather from their teammates and then to fill out the task sheet. So it gives learners the primary responsibility and also structure tool for designing their activities. They develop the performance criteria, troubleshoot issue, and refine tasks. This fosters deeper problem-solving skill and engage them in continuous improvement. Here is an example from our volleyball class from student coach. So after identify their goals, coach and learner kind of collaborate on the task sheet. And the coach role in here is more of a facilitator, helping refine these activities, but primarily let the learner take control. So all of those task sheets are designed from our student coach. And after student coach finish all the training plan design task sheet, they're gonna get ready for the practice in class. That's where reciprocal style come in. It also called style C. Emphasize social interaction, reciprocation, consistently receiving and giving feedback, immediate feedback. So in our study, we introduced a new role and new relationship during our team practice session. We have student coach and the learners. Student coach work as a teacher to deliver instruction, and the doer, when doer perform the practice, the observer watch and provide feedback based on the task sheet provided by student coach in advance. And the coach oversee the whole process, but mostly offer feedback to the observer. So this circle of peer support fosters accountability and shared learning. And here's an example in our volleyball class. So she is a coach, and she is a doer, and he is a observer. So it's great to see that everybody engaging to the team practice session. And in this session, we begin with learner-initiated goal setting, move to learner design task, and then let reciprocal teaching style unfold within each team. This progression ensures continuous engagement, problem solving, and peer feedback. In a short summary, we are focusing on team practice session to support. So we provide coach link question to support student coach in designing training plan and task sheet structure to support them in team practice implementing. And for feedback delivering, we provide triad relationship. We introduce triad relationship to reinforce their feedback behavior. In terms of data collection, we capture all team practice on GoPro camera, transcribe them for analysis, and triangulate it with a weekly training plan and research file notes. For quantitative measure, we measure their game performance, sport-specific skill, and their psychological need status in sports, with modification that cover autonomy, competence, and relatedness in their team practice. And let's get to see the results. We observed significant improvements in their autonomy, competency, and relatedness from pre to post intervention. This underscores how this learner-centered teaching styles can enhance students' psychological needs, align with the self-determination theory perspective. And across all three sports, participants show significant gains in both skill proficiency and game performance. For example, we measure their forehand drive and forehand tag in table tennis. The skill test score improved significantly, so does game performance. And this pattern was similar for badminton and volleyball. As for recreation, because we haven't finished data collection yet, so we don't have the answer. But we do plan to run regression in the future because we want to see how those teaching styles predict changes in their motivation, skill, and performance over time. At the end of the presentation, we would like to extend our thanks to the spectrum of teaching style for funding support and the UND Sport Exercise Credit Classes Director for facilitating our data collection. Their assistance was crucial to the success of the study. And here's a some photo example from our award ceremony and those mascot design from our students, and that's a real mascot to reflect the sport education features. And here's some reference to support our study. Thank you for your time today. We hope this finding encourage more exploration into learner-centered strategies like reciprocal, learner-initiated, and learner-designed teaching styles. And we'd love to discuss further questions and we'll welcome any feedback. Here are some team ID example from our class. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Wei and Dr. Liu, for your nice presentation. Any questions, comments from the audience?
Yeah, I have one question. Thank you so much for your lovely presentation, quite clear, and everything was explained clearly. Why two racket sports and volleyball? Because the three sports are different. Two of them are closely related, but the third one, no. I know that all of those, they include the net. But why the decision of including three sports, two racket sports, and the other one a team sport? And thank you for your presentation again.
Yes, thanks for the question. That's a really good one. I can answer this question. It's a tricky situation in here because we used to have a big gym. You saw in the video, right? So like the gym space was we lost the gym space last year. So we are in a transition from a gym space to another building. So this is why volleyball, badminton, table tennis is the only class available during our data collection time. So this is why we decided to, okay, let's catch badminton, table tennis, and volleyball. Since this is the only class we can collecting data. This is the major reason why. And also another reason will be like based on our research experience. We have all of those skill tests validated in volleyball, in table tennis, in badminton. For the volleyball test, actually we bought Dr. Bias volleyball test. So the games like actual like passing, receiving, setting test. So we just borrowed the validated test. So this is why we're collecting those 3 sports in our project.
Okay, thank you. Quite clear.
Any comments
Min,
or
I have a
ideas
question.
yes, Mark.
Okay. Thanks for the presentation, Harry and Wei. Very good. Question about when data collection took place over the span of the, season. When does data collection take place? The multiple data collections, I assume.
Yeah, we have the pre and post data collection. If we're moving back to the timeline in here, so the pre and post test starting before the semester started, then the post testing started after awarding ceremony. So this is the pre-post design. So we're collecting data before and after within the 8 weeks intervention. So this is the physical education classes, like the structure offered in our university. So we have
Right.
8 weeks, for all of those college PE courses here.
So if it's pre-post before the study begins and then at the end of the study,
Yeah.
how do you determine, how do you answer the question? So is learning going on because of the first 5 lessons that the students are in that are specifically driven by the teacher and are skill related? Or is learning going on, is the learning that you're seeing happening as a result of the student coaches kind of in the middle of this study?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We talked about this like data collection strategy in our project. So in here, like the lesson 1 to lesson 5,
Yeah.
we like this is the you can thinking this is the direct instruction. We're just providing the very brief kind of like review or just try to teaching the really basic skills in each sport, like badminton, all of the basic, like how do you do the forehand clear, how do you serve. So within the 5 lessons, so we're just providing all the basic. So most of the heavily training starting from here, in here, scheduled in here, because in here we're just providing all the time to students, to student coach, to each team, to allow them to building their team training, team practice. So in here, like we just did really limited. I will also count here as part of the skill practice or training because this is the game season. So they do apply their skills from here to play all of those games in official game season. Because in here, if you check in the next slides, for Wednesday in the team training lessons, they do have the preseason. We just want to use in the preseason count as feedback, allows them to reflecting how their training going from Monday and Friday. Also, they can practice how to to be a referee. So this is why we're thinking we still do the pre and post, but the most of the team practice came from here, and also they apply their training into games in here. So this is why we're collecting data pre and post before we started, and also after awarding ceremony finished. We want to them building in general. Want to them building a official like authentic experience within SE model first before we're collecting data, because as we mentioned, like our projects try to integrating all of the 3 styles into SE model. So this is why we don't only like collecting data in here to reflecting the team training part. We want to them exposure with the whole structure of SE model first before we're collecting data.
Okay, thank you, Harry.
Thank you so much. That's a really good question.
Sorry, Min, can I have a short question?
Min, you're muted.
Oh, yes. Sorry. So yes, of course, Nikos.
Thank you. Just a quick question. Thank you for your presentation. Just a quick question about statistics. Did you conduct power analysis before? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we did our power analysis. So currently, like this presentation included.
Yeah, because the sample is small relatively, so that's why. Okay.
Right. So we collect so far we finished around 50 participants within our project. But the presentation you see right now is only including 36 because some data collected in the spring is not fully processed yet. So this is why we didn't including them in here. This is an ongoing project. We will continue collecting data this fall. So we expect to finish around 80 to 100. So this is matched with our power analysis.
Great, thank you. One more little question because the slide probably went too fast and maybe I didn't notice. You had relatively high test scores. So I didn't see if you had also eta squares calculated.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, so that will be included. Like when we're writing on a manuscript, we're including all of those information. Yeah, that's a really good reminder. Thank you so much.
Okay, nice work. I mean, you focused on teaching styles that we don't have enough research studies, I would say. And the reason I'm asking this is related to your efforts. I mean, I would say later in order to publish these efforts, your work. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you, Wei, Dr. Liu and Wei, wonderful for your wonderful presentation. So here we go to the final presentation for today. And this one is about teaching styles and technology. So Dr. Maria Fernandez-Rivas and Jose Calero Cano will share many interesting ideas regarding physical education pedagogy. So doctors, you can proceed with your presentation.
Okay, hello, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Fernandez-Rivas, and I'm here with my colleague, Jose Calero Cano from University Pontificia Comillas. Firstly, I want to give Spectrum Institute thanks for allowing us to be here today. We are excited to present our proposal of teaching integration through the spectrum of teaching styles, with a particular focus on new technologies. In addition, we want to say we have tried that the activities proposed keep the rules of each teaching style apply. However, if you will see some mistakes, please, we will be delighted to know it. Our presentation will cover the following parts: introductions, objectives, units, specifically ballet, future lines of research, and reference. So in this part, it's important to note that body expression is understood as different sociocultural manifestation that includes theater and dance. For this reason, dance is considered a fundamental technique of body expression. Now, teachers have a different question about the student. For example, one of question is what is the student preferred content? Arenas et al. Claim that the positive perceptions of the content depend on teacher performance and gender, and this research shows that some of the most popular contents in physical education for students are physical condition and health, as well as games and sport, but didn't include body expression among their interests. So the second question could be, what is the situation with dance in physical education? Bors et al. Discuss how body expression and dance are contents highly stereotyped by a student, thus it is advisable to promote positive experience that modify these perceptions. In this way, there are research showing that activity related to dance can be boring or uncomfortable for students. Conversely, there are research indicating that this content can positively influence emotion. For this reason, motivation plays an important role in physical education class when working on dance-related contents, as it's associated with the student satisfaction and enjoyment in classes. The satisfaction of the basic psychological needs of self-determination theory as being autonomy, competence, and relatedness can influence in adherence and participation in physical and sport activities. There are research showing that motivation can increase when students have the freedom to make decisions, and not so much when dance content is taught through the reproductive teaching styles. So on one hand, there are research that claim the use of teaching style which favor student decision making in the teaching learning process, and therefore their autonomy, promote their motivation and adherence to physical and sport activities by satisfying the basic psychological needs related to self-determination theory, mainly the need for autonomy. One way to approach dance activity is by applying the spectrum of teaching style, where depending on the teaching style used, there will be a decision maker, a teacher or a student. Here we can see that as we move to the right in the spectrum of teaching style, the student will make more decisions. In addition, Simpas et al. Relate the Boston and Answer spectrum of teaching style and the self-determination theory, classifying the style according to the degree of autonomy they offer to students. In this classification, you could see from left to right the teaching favor to the autonomy, from less to more. So on the other hand, information and communication technologies applied in teaching learning process can not only increase student motivation, but also favor their participation and interest in the content touch. In this case, new technologies will be applied in dance content in physical education. Other research affirm that the use of new technologies in dance shows improvement in learning satisfaction level, making students feel more relaxed, reducing anxiety and stress, and therefore increasing their enjoyment and fun and their perception of competence. So the main objective of this proposal is to show activities to boost the student motivation in dance activities in physical education through the spectrum of teaching style and new technologies. So the specific objective of this proposal are firstly to show a battery of activities based on practice style, inclusion style, convergent discovery style, and divergent discovery style with new technologies. And the second objective, specific objective, is to favor students' attitude in physical education toward dance content through teaching style and new technologies. In this table, we could see what teaching style have been using practice, inclusion, convergent, and divergent style. Next, we are going to present several activities included in a dance teaching unit, specifically ballet. These some of the objectives of this unit, for example, to recognize and improve basic ballet position, to develop motor coordination, to encourage teamwork and collaboration, and to promote creativity and body expression. The first step to start the unit will be to present it through a learning situation with a general challenge, which will be seen as achieved thanks to the activities that will be presented later. To present the learning situation, we have created a video seeking to generate greater interest in the student. And now I want to show. I want to show the video. Is a short video.
Hola chicos, soy yo otra vez, Odette. Estoy de vuelta en vuestra universidad. Estoy investigando todos los lugares de la universidad para ver si tenéis los espacios correctos para hacer el siguiente tipo del baile del mundo. Este proviene de un sitio muy lejano, de Rusia, y necesitamos muchos espacios para poder hacerlo bien. Por ejemplo, esto me puede servir para una barra. No, veo que no. ¡Y pero gracias! ¡Hala! Por aquí tienen que estar las clases con los alumnos. Bueno, este es el sitio perfecto para hacer un Dijon. Venga, voy a seguir buscándolos. Parece que hay una clase. A ver cómo lo hacen. Madre mía, qué desastre. Mejor creo que me voy a otra clase. A ver. Aquí hay más. Ay. Voy a tener que... Creo que aquí queda mucho trabajo por delante. Y necesito que me ayudéis. Necesito que ayudéis a mejorar los estándares de ballet en esta universidad, porque veo que no se trabaja mucho. Entonces, necesito que vosotros, los alumnos de cuarto de primaria infantil, me ayudéis a conseguir las 4 insignias de los 4 niveles que os voy a poner de ballet, para ser unas súper especialistas en ballet. Para ello, tendréis que pasar las 4 estaciones y devolverme las bailarinas que os he mandado por correo. Así que, ¿aceptáis mi reto? Postdata, no os olvidéis de mandarme vuestros vídeos por el Padlet y las medallas que habéis conseguido. ¡Un besito!
Okay, this is a video which allow to present the main challenge, and now there are a lot of activities, in this case 4 activities, for the achieve this challenge. So here you could see the activities and the teaching styles and new technology used in each one. This is as explained it in the video. After passing each of the activities, students will get a badge like this to complete their dance certificates. This is the first activity. In this activity used practice style. It's necessary groups of 5 or 6 people. Tablets regarding materials, it's necessary tablets, Munce app and QR codes, and the objective of this activity is to know the basic positions of ballet. The steps to follow are as follows. First, students will have to look for in the university through Munce app the cards with the description of the different position and QR codes with the video with the movement. For example, in this slide, you could see an example of what the app would look like. Munce is an application that allows you to insert localization on a real map of the area you are in. Those localizations will show where the student needs to go to find and scan the QR codes. There will be several points on the maps where the student will have to go to find and scan all of QR codes. In the second step, a student will have to scan the QR codes and read the card with position of ballot. When a student read the QR codes, will display a video like this. This is a video. One moment. In this, the activity is explained. This is the position. And also students, I'm sorry. In addition, students have different cards with the description of the position. This card is in Spanish language, but it's possible to translate if it's necessary. This is another example with another video with the second position, and the same with the card descriptions. Okay, in the third step, students should record a video where all people of group will have to name each position and repeat synchronously the movement. One of them will record the movement with the tablet. This is the second activity. We use inclusion styles. It's necessary groups of 5 or 6 people. It's necessary 2 tablets and Geniali. And the objective of this activity is to know and practice the basic position of ballet according to their level. In the first place, teacher explained the levels in each activities and the worksheet, and a student fill it. This is an example of worksheet, and after, a student who will have a tablet to use the Geniali choose between 3 levels of difficulty to reproduce the different position of ballet. First position with 3 levels, second position with another 3 levels, and this is an example with description for each level in first position. And this is the description of different levels of second position. And I want to show Geniali, an example of Geniali with these levels. This is an example of Geniali. Firstly, student could see the explanation about activity, and after they should do click in different position. If I click in enter and I click in first position, students see the three levels, and they have to click in different levels. They have to read 3 levels, and after choose what level they prefer. For example, in first level, student could see a description about the activity, and if a student click in play, it's possible to see an explanation exactly for the reproduce in this activity.
That's placed on the bar. We always want to approach the bar properly. We do this by making sure our head is held high and our chest is lifted. Lightly place your fingertips on the bar. Our elbows should be slightly bent and in. Now, place your feet in parallel. Your toes are pointed forward and your heels are together. To find our first position, we lift our toes and open them up as far as you can and place them down. Your toes are turned out, and ideally, your heels should be touching. It's okay if they don't. This is called a turned out position. Let's go back to parallel and try it again. Ready? Turnout comes from our hips. The knee and ankle follow. Do not open your toes.
This is a short example about the activity. I'm sorry. I need the generally again. Okay. A student could see the 3 levels of first position and click in the play for see the video. In addition, they could choose when a student read the 3 levels, a student could choose in what start. In addition, in the quiz, they will have the worksheet that they will have to fill before starting. And the same with the other levels. For example, if I want to back, I can see the 3 levels for second position, and the same in the quiz, I have the worksheet for this activity. Okay. Okay, now this is the 3 activity. In this activity, we use convergent discovery style. It's necessary groups of 5 or 6 people with tablets and Padlet app. The objective of this activity is to improve the techniques of different movement of ballet. In this QR code, you could see the Padlet for the activity you want to scan. It's possible, but don't worry, because in this slide you can see an example of Padlet. So first, a student will read QR code with the tablet to access the Padlet's wall. The Padlet show different questions about different movement, and a student will have to discover what is the best way to answer the question. An example of question is, what is the correct alignment of the knees during a grand plie to prevent injuries? After, a student have to describe in writing the correct techniques for each movement, and they have to upload a video where the students do the correct technique for each one. When all of group have finished the complete activity, final reflection in groups will carry out to determine the correct techniques for each movement. And finally, this is the activity 4. In this activity, we use divergent discovery style. It's necessary groups of 5 or 6 people again, and needs tablets and Suno AI and Mureka app. And the objective is to favor the creative through different movement of ballet. The first step is create a dance including at least 3 positions of the follow picture. After, student will have to create the music with Suno AI or Mureka AI. Finally, they should show the dance to other groups. And in this video, we want to show you how students can create music with the app. We will tell a student that they must decide the type of music they want to their dance, for example, classic, rock, pop, and we ask for them that it appear the word dance and ballet in the music. So in this video, it's possible to see how work this app. You can write the word that you want to the students include in the music and create the music. And a student could choose what music prefer when they have create different music, one or two. This is an example, but a student can create any music with this app. So now I want to speak about the future lines of research, because this is a proposal of different activities with the dance content. But the main future line of research regarding this proposal is to carry out this project in class with university students and to analyze the difference between a student's motivation depending on the teaching style used with a pre and post test, and to describe the self-efficacy of university students to use the different teaching style in their classes with pre and post test. In this QR, we show the reference used for the presentation. And so thanks you for your attention, and if somebody have a question, we will be happy to answer it. Thanks.
So Maria, thank you for your insightful presentation. Now, time is for our audience. Any questions and comments? Questions or comments from our audience? If our audience do not have questions or comments, then I think I might ask a quick question. This is a very interesting study for me, and because I know that teach the content such as ballet to 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 ask students to know how to express their self is pretty difficult. And I'm thinking about my question is about the pedagogy. How what do you put the new technology you mentioned in your proposal as kind of pedagogy or tools or instruments or anything else? Do you put it at the same in the same role, such as the teaching styles that you mentioned in your proposal?
I don't know if I understand the
yeah.
question. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking about what kind of do the technology play in your proposal? Is it a pedagogy, or is it a tool, or is it anything else that I can image?
Okay. I think that the new technologies is very fun for the students. So I think that is a pedagogy level is very interested, because a student can improve different skills and use teaching style, also new technologies, is a mix very well for the student for their learning, and I think that is possible to use in university and in school and at the school. What you want? I don't know if I answer well your question.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Min, I have.
Yes. Yes, Maria. Judith.
Thank you, Maria, for your presentation, and Jose Carlos. I think it's a really nice presentation and interactive motivation for students. So my question is about the content dance. Why you choose this content? Why dance and not other different content?
Okay. I think that it's very difficult to teach the dance content because normally students at the school and in university prefer other contents. When you speak about dance, students think that is very difficult, or they feel uncomfortable and stressed. And I think that if you try to teach this content with a new technology or with teaching style that which are better for them because they have more motivation with this teaching style. For example, it's better to the process of learning process is better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So Maria, we have a question in our inside our box message that asks about when students use technology devices but the internet fail to support their tasks, what alternative strategies can teachers adopt to address this issue? I know that Jose to respond to this question, but do you have anything want to add?
I what you want to say is if I think that another thing is good for a student than new technologies, or I don't understand well your question. I'm sorry, but my English is is regular.
So I think that this question would be like the situation that if you do not have internet when you are teaching physical
Okay, yeah,
education,
understand.
okay,
If
how would
you
you deal with this kind of situation?
okay, if you want to say that if what happen if I have an internet in my school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't worry. Maybe in this case, I can show different music in the for activity when I use the Suno app. I can or we can like teacher to present different music without internet, and a student can choose one of them. For example, I present 5 music and a student choose one of them. And then in the second activity, when I use Munce app, I think that there are another apps without internet, maybe with a PowerPoint or like that, where I can put different sites or coordinates, or I don't know, numbers for situation in the school, and a student can look for this space with a PowerPoint where isn't necessary to use internet. I think that it's possible to think another possibilities for using tablets or other technology without internet. I think that is possible, but it's necessary to know different apps and think how you can do it.
Yes. So as teachers, we always have many weapons to deal with any situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for your responses.
Thank you so much.
So do you have any or more comments or questions from the audience for our third presentation? Okay, so thank you, Maria. Thank you again for your really, really nice presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your participating in the 2025 SITL workshop series. We have 5 sessions this year, and the number of presentations is increasing yearly. And we hope to continuously build a platform to disseminate the spectrum to scholars and practitioners worldwide and trigger profound discussions in PE and beyond. So again, thank you for your participation. And at the end of this section, I would like to ask Nikos, the president of SITL, do you have any information that you want to share with our audience?
Thank you, Min.
Yes.
This is, and thank you for your coordination. This is, and of course, I would like very shortly, very briefly to thank everybody for participating in our sessions. It was wonderful to see all these presentations, and it's wonderful to see that the spectrum of teaching styles gains more and more attention worldwide. Just very briefly, I would like to show you this, which is, I don't know if it is focus. Okay.
It's refusing to focus.
Yeah, it's refusing to focus anyway. So it's about our next big initiative, a vision that Sarah Ashworth wanted to fulfill and organize a gathering for those people, educators and researchers who work or teach with the spectrum of teaching styles. And we are going to have our first international conference next May in ancient Olympia, Greece. Thank you. Thank you, Otto. And we would like to see you, if all of you, if possible, there. Please have a look in the website for updated information, and do not hesitate to contact with us. Thank you very much, and probably see you in ISF conference or a conference somewhere around the world. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Nikos, and thank you again for everyone for your participating in the workshop series, and we'll see you next year. Have a good day, have a good afternoon, and good evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.